First of all, I want to thank you all so much for coming on this session this evening. And what we are going to be discussing tonight, well, first of all, let me go ahead and go back. I'm going to be the host of this session for tonight. And the topic that we're going to be talking about that we want to have, discussion about tonight is strangers supporting you more than family. So to get us started and get this show on the road, I want to introduce and I want to bring forth one of our panel members for the evening, Miss Jerica.
Hey there. How's everybody doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Miss Shannon. I hope you are too.
I am. I said, well, I guess we can just kind of go ahead and get things started. And as others, flow in, they just flow in. But yeah, I think this is
Sounds
going to
good
be
to
a
me.
good topic tonight. Strangers supporting you more than family.
Yeah,
So
it's a
we go
shame.
ahead and open the floor up and just see what you got to say about that. What you think about that?
Um, it's definitely something that goes on. Me personally, I am a extrovert by you know, just by nature. But I do like to say that I try to keep like my really close friends. I keep a small circle as far as you know, people that can you still hear me?
I
Sorry, I
can,
had a little
it's
cutout.
kind of like you went out a little bit, but
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, just within my small circle, me and my friends, we basically treat each other like family. Um, you know, if anybody's hurt or going through some things, hell, even jail, we there with some bail money. A shoulder to cry on. Whatever the case is, and a lot of times, it's sad to say you can't really get that same support from family. At least not everybody. You know. Again, I don't want to kick the family back in too much because I can say that I definitely have a great support system. But everybody has their own thing going on. So when they're not available, I got my friends and vice versa. They change out like that, especially depending on what kind of life situations you've had. But, what's your situation, Miss Shannon? Are you got more friends than family in your corner, or what?
Well, see, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm very introverted, extremely introverted. To be honest, I just tell people all the time I don't really like people. I hate going out in the public because when I get there, the public is there, and I'm just like, why don't y'all go home? Type deal. So a lot of I want to say, I guess I have a small family. So, um, the few family members that I do have that I will say that, that I do like or whatever, like I kind of, we kind of, close. But
Mm,
a lot of my friends that I have been friends with for years, I treat them like family as well.
yeah.
But I sometimes have like a different perspective because of the fact that I am self-employed. And
Hmm.
I, more so come from the aspect of I have, as far as my, being on my entrepreneurship journey, I have
Hmm.
had more people who are strangers and were strangers that have been, sometimes better to me or supported me more than my family and or some of my friends.
Right. Right.
But then I had to kind of learn along the way. I guess, with what I do, like I deal with people's money, I deal with people's insurance needs and stuff like that. I think a lot of it for me, what I had to come to the realization of is that sometimes I think your friends and family don't want to cross that line.
Hmm.
So sometimes they just want to be able to say, okay, I don't want you in my business. I don't want you knowing that I'm sick or that I've been sick or, that my money has been real funny. It's like
Hmm.
kind of come to the realization and, that was some of the reasons why my friends and my family didn't really support me because I was hurt.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute, hold on. The first thing they say is go find your friends and family. And I'm just sitting up here, excuse my French, like, where these motherfuckers at there?
Where the hell the family
Yeah,
at?
like, where the well, you know, and I'm like trying to call, and you know, this was years ago when I first got started for the days of social media and everything. So I'm trying to call it. Yeah, girl, you know, call me back next week. You know, I might as well just have, you know, been sitting around saying, I'm gonna hear, you know, waiting to hear a rat piss on cotton, because that's how, you know, how it got over here for me. You know, but then it was like, but the strangers or people that I was working with, or let's just be real, white people that I would reach out to, here they come. You know, and so I was like, you know, like I said, kind of hurt, but then that's whenever I had to just kind of just sit back and realize, you know, a lot of times I think family and sometimes friends don't support you. Like I said, I'm just talking about the entrepreneurship side of things. They don't support you. Sometimes not because they don't want you to succeed. They just don't want you in their business. They see you as like how I am, as Shannon as their friend, or Shannon as their cousin, or Shannon as whoever. That's the realm they want to, you know, me to stay in or whatever. And I just had to, you know, adjust to that. But on the flip side of things, go over there where the white people are. It don't, you know, let Becky start cooking, you know, let Becky start baking cookies. It don't matter Becky's mama, Becky's daddy, Becky's sister, Gretchen, Tammy, Madison, all the rest of them. They gonna, you know, they chime in. What can we do, Becky? We got you, girlfriend. Let's go ahead and sell these cookies. They do that, but over here with us, like, and I don't know, maybe it's just I'm different. I don't know. And if I'm wrong, I stand corrected. But that's just how, you know, I take it, is that maybe they, like I said, they want to keep you in that little realm right there, and they don't want to go outside of that.
Right, right. And back to the business part. A lot of times, especially in the South, family will help out, but not after they done told your grandma, your sister, your brother, and everybody else you know. You know, I had to help such and such out last week. She was going through this, this, and that. So I definitely understand, you know, just wanting to not have your business all out in the streets.
Oh, I get it. But it was just like at first, just trying to understand, because, and I guess once again, me being introverted, I got family, but I don't really talk to them like that. Like even to this day, like I can be, I'm that cousin, like I'm be real, I'm that cousin that ain't shit. You know, like, you know, like we're family reunion. Guess who ain't coming? When I do show up, they be like, oh my God. And I'm like, and I'm showing up because my mama told me I had to show up. You know,
Right, right.
you know, but for the most part, you know, it's like I don't really, you know, rock with family. And it's not that I don't like them. It's just when you're an only child, you by yourself all the time. Even now, you know, it's just like, so I'm not that family member that if you come and tell me something that I'm gonna go back and tell, because I'm like, I don't even know who I will go back and tell. Because if I call them, they're like, what's wrong, Shannon? Somebody died, what's wrong? You know, you all right, you know, my son named Isaiah, I say, all right, you know, because they know that they don't hear from me like that. So that's why I say for me, you know, I mean, I had to, like I said, I had to learn that. I had to learn, you know, things like what you just said, you know, like, okay, you know, I get it, I understand. But, you know, but like I said, at the same time, it still can be a little hurtful when you're supposed to be the people that you share a bloodline with, but you got to go somewhere else and, you know, feel love and get support.
Right, right. And another thing that I've always, you know, something that's just been brought up a lot of times is, you know, as Black people, we're the first to do a lot of things in our family. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not that they don't want to help, but it's just that they don't know how, you know?
That's true.
So for instance, by the time I was like 25, I was, you know, I was seeing, I come from like a little podunk small country town, you know? And by the time I was like 25, I had moved up here to Raleigh, had a little school, had gotten the sales, and like I was seeing more money than, you know, a lot of my family members had seen, you know, for that age or you know, today. Just, you know, it's just the standard of living. Like in Raleigh, you're gonna make a little more money than you would in a smaller town, you know. So just like that, I had my mom, she was doing my taxes one year, and you know, she was looking at how much I made, and she was just like, good God, what are you doing? And I'm just like, you know, it wasn't a crazy amount, or at least I didn't think so, especially, you know, from the different friends and just the different people in my life. I didn't think it was like a crazy amount, but she was looking at it like, I got degrees and stuff, and you making this type of money, you know. So it kind of, when I saw how she was looking at me, or not that she was like, you know, hating or anything like that. She was just like, you know, just trying to figure out how was it possible? You know, I was that young and making my little money or whatever, you know. But just that kind of made me like feel like I couldn't talk to her about certain things,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily that, I just didn't want her feeling bad because here I am making, whoop-de-whoop amount of money. And, she's not seeing that. And she's like well into her profession and doing all these great things. So like, I felt like a lot of times it became like down to money issues or anything like that. I would just kind of turn into my little circle of friends. And at that time, we all kind of worked together, so we all kind of understood. I don't care. More money, more problems. You start getting a little more here, and next thing you know, you got an extra bill here, and this and this and that. And I just felt like I couldn't come to my mama and be talking about, mama, I don't know how I'm, how I'm, or I just felt like it was just not even a problem, just from the
Mm-hmm.
way I was raised and different things like that. So, a lot of times, sometimes it's uncharted waters,
Mm-hmm.
and your people try to be there the best they can for you sometimes, but they just don't, they just haven't had the same experiences. And sometimes that's where friends and, coworkers and different things like that step in and really have a role.
Mm-hmm. I can
Yeah.
definitely understand that. Because I know back when I first started on my entrepreneurship journey, I had left corporate America. And
Mm.
for me, I hated corporate America. I mean, and it's not, I love working, but I just
Right.
don't do well working for other people. And I think back then, before entrepreneurship really got big as it is now, everybody was, getting out of school, whether it was high school, whether it was college, whether it was a 2-year college, 4-year college, whatever you did, or even if some people didn't finish school, but it was always just go get a job, just go get a job, just go get a job. And I was like, I don't want to work for nobody. I just want to work for me. And
Mm.
my lights happen to go out. It's kind of storming over here, but I'm still gonna make it do what it do. So I'm just gonna keep talking, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I might be in the dark, but that's why, because it's storming. But you saw my wherever the light is right there, just flickered. But anywho, but I think a lot of times people, when you start back then, when you start talking about being an entrepreneur, they like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to give that good
Hmm.
job up? Why you want to leave that money? And I'm like, I work in a call center, and no disrespect to anybody working.
Right.
I have the utmost respect for those that work in a call center, because don't nobody know the struggle until you have an umbilical cord on your head,
Man,
and you
what?
got somebody that's over there on the other side that ain't got nothing else to do but to monitor how many minutes you are late and come over there and be bugging you
Hmm.
about it. And I was that kind of employee that was like, they were like, you were 2 minutes late. Be glad I came back. And I would say it just like,
Okay.
be glad I came. I'm like, I'm like, you ain't got nothing else to do. There's
Right.
you answer it then. You over here getting coffee. This your second cup of coffee. You done walked around this call center twice. Go answer it then. But that kind of mentality, I knew I had to go. But it was like back, but like I said, I'm saying like I'm out of here, I'm gone. I think I have my plan. I'm going out here. That's once again, I thought I was gonna save the world. I'm gonna make sure everybody got some life insurance. I'm gonna make sure everybody got their money straight. Everybody gonna have some good credit. Boy, I tell you, family and friends, they're like, why you wanna leave? Why you
Yeah.
wanna do that? And I'm like, because I'm unhappy and I know I have more to offer. Like, this amount of money that I'm getting paid or whatever, yes, decent, but I gotta go through pure hell and I gotta get off work hating people and
Right.
deal with anybody, because all I've dealt with is somebody in my ear, dude. That's a little thing to come on, dude, or boop, whatever it said, and I'm like, I'm trying to do something for me. But guess what? Them strangers and the white donuts was like, go ahead, Shannon. Like, what can we do to help? I'm
We're
proud
right
of you.
behind you.
Yeah, like, oh my God. Like, they, like, I love it. I mean, I'm like, why can't my people show me this kind
Yeah.
of love? Like, I'm sitting over here talking to my white donut friends, and and they sitting over there just, all you have to do is do just this. You know what? I'm gonna get you in contact with somebody, and they're gonna call you, Shannon, and because they need this and it was just like, and I'm just sitting, I'm happy, but then it was like at home, it was just like, why you want to do that? Why you want to leave? Why you want to do this? How we gonna get some money in here? What's wrong with you? And I'm just like, but now, it's like I'm glad every more people are entrepreneurs, and it's more
Hmm.
popular. But I just remember back when it was a time when it was just like, oh, why you want to do that? You leaving that good job and you leaving them good benefits. you crazy. But a stranger, I can
Mm-hmm.
go to Haynes Mall and start talking to them about what I'm doing. They're like, oh, good luck. Or better yet, you know what? Right, call such a, this is my sister. Call her. She needs what you have. She needs what you have. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah.
You got this.
Yeah.
Girl, that's why I say I got some stories, but if I said
Mm-hmm.
the topic right here tonight might have me up here, I might just get the cussing just because people have made me mad along the way.
But I mean, that's how we survived so many years, slavery. I blame slavery for everything. But caution is how we survive. So we already got that in the back of our minds, like we have to move like, you know, everything could come crashing down tomorrow. We don't have that same adventure side that our powdered counterparts have. They've always been told the sky's the limit,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case is. So with us, we just retreat sometimes. We're like, oh, why would you want to jump out there and risk it all when you could be right here and keep this and be okay? We
Mm-hmm.
don't try to reach out like that. So, as much as it's counterproductive sometimes when folks talk to you like that, but at the same time, it's you gotta, being Black, you gotta have that little bit of a reality check in the back of your head. Like, yeah, you can do anything, but you're going to have to come at it with a plan, and you're going to have to be, on it. Or at least that's what it feels like, sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those initial, oh, what if, will, that's just growing pains of being the first Blacks in your family, and the first Blacks your people know to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you got to be like, okay, I appreciate it. However, knowing what I know and believing in myself the way I do, I'm gonna have to take this little chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the issue I had. Well, like I said, when I was 25, making all that money. The long story short, the commission structure changed like they often do with like the little sales call center jobs and stuff. And I was looking like, the trouble, it ain't worth the trouble no more. They
Mm-hmm.
had us in there working nonstop, sweating, slaving out. And it was like, but at least that coin is gonna coin at the end of the day.
That.
Right. So when the money wasn't money no more, I was just like, oh my, I gotta get out of here. And I had been there 3 years, and I was just like, I ain't never made this type of money in my life. What if this is the only chance I have? You know what I'm saying? To make this coin.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my own dots going on, and then just everybody else out there, just like my mom, she wasn't necessarily like, don't do it. She was just like, be careful. Like, be careful and make sure this is what you want to do. But sometimes it'd be hard to take that leap. And yeah, like it did kind of help. I had other friends that we was all kind of getting off the boat at the same time, and they were
Mm-hmm.
finding places and making more money than we were making in there. So it was like, what, maybe we can, let's just do it. Hell, I'm the salesperson. I got the talent, I got the skills. That's why I had to tell myself at the end of the day. So any type of job like this or whatever the case is, I'm gonna be able to do this. Like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Let's see. Yep. Let me see.
Yeah.
What is this? What about the family? I don't know if you can see that too, but
Oh
what?
yeah, I see you. I
Okay.
see you.
Yeah. Okay. Mm, mm, what about the family members who will see your post on Facebook and won't show no free love? Well,
And,
did you want to go ahead and address that, or I can, or if you want to, you can
no,
go.
go ahead, and it'd be absolutely free. That's what be
Well,
upsetting me.
see, this is what I'm gonna say to that. Okay, and I didn't know this until somebody else had to bring it up to my attention. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, and that does not give anybody an excuse. I'm just saying this is what was said to me. The algorithms. Anytime you put something on Facebook that has to do with business, okay, the way the algorithms are set up, they will move those particular posts down to the very bottom of people's timelines.
Mm-hmm.
And the only ones that's going to see it are like between 1% to 3% of your Facebook friends. And those
Mm-hmm.
Facebook friends are the ones that you have the most contact with, whether it's Messenger, Whether it's a thing of where you go on their post and you comment or you click like or love or whatever, and they do the same. But if they don't fit into that realm, then a lot of times, even when you post it, it's not blocked because you're trying to sell something or you're trying to advertise or you're trying to market, and it's their system that catches those, like if you put like the little dollar sign, or if you put having a sale, or just whatever, like that system is so doggone smart that it can pick up all of that. Go on Facebook and put good morning and watch everybody come and say good morning. Go say something about business or about your business. You like, ain't no fuck everybody, ain't nobody giving me no love. No, the thing is they don't, because that's how I felt. Like that's how I
Yeah.
felt. I'm like, man, everybody, ain't nobody out here showing me no love and da 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 whatever. But it wasn't that they weren't showing me no love, they just wasn't seeing it. But when I go and say good morning, my thing on Facebook is always good morning ninjas. Everybody, they mom come back and say good morning. But then when I
Yeah. Yeah.
talk about business, the only ones commenting are the ones that see it. But guess what? The ones that constantly see it are my customers anyhow. Well, if they got a business,
True.
I'm their customer. So that's one
Yeah.
thing I will say, just to kind of give people the benefit of the doubt. Okay. But now for the ones that do see your posts and they are acting like they don't, or they acting like when it come to your page, that all of a sudden they turn into Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles.
Don't.
You know, the thing is though, you make that mental note and say, you know what? um okay, I see that such and such ain't showing no love. I should so to show this person ain't showing no love. Then guess what? I'm a believer of, I match energy. Wait till they have something and you do the same thing. Wait till they put out something and they talking about, hey, I got this going on, da 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 da. Better yet, just go and tell them like, oh yeah, I'm coming, and don't even show up. I'm petty. I'm petty today. I'm
Oh,
petty to you. I'm like, oh yeah, you got such and such going on, girl. I am on my way. And you know what I'll be doing? Sitting over here, getting relaxed, laid back, being like, let me go ahead and watch some TV. Let me see what's going on. And then I'm going to make a post to say, oh, it's a good night tonight to sit back and watch something on Netflix, whatever. I'm letting you know I'm at home. So
right.
just me. I'm going to go ahead and be quiet. I'm talking about the
Miss
one
Shannon.
to see you be like, I see you. I see all you doing on Facebook. So proud of you. See, I'm gonna tell you right now. Now I can be a little bitch at times. That's when you tell me you so proud of me, but you ain't supporting me. You know that little emoji that come up to be like this. That's what now I get down. I'm gonna shut up because I mean, and
Yeah,
I
Miss Shannon.
whole family hate you. Don't listen to me because I'm petty.
Nah, I mean,
You got
it's warranted
you go ahead and
sometimes.
speak up on that. Somebody got to. Both of us can't be coming the same way with these people. We got to balance each other out over here. But that's just
I
how.
mean, I won't necessarily go out my way to like retaliate. I do understand where you're coming from, Miss Shannon. Hey, an eye for an eye. You feel me?
But that's
But
why
what I will do,
because if not, we're gonna have everybody hating their family members out here.
yeah,
Both of them can't be the same.
I'm with you. No, I'll make a mental note. Like I'll make a little mental note. Okay, I see you. And you're obviously like when people do this type of shit. Like, come on now, you seen it and you're proud of me, but you couldn't reach that little hand up there and press that damn button and give me one extra view, one
Drop
extra something.
drop mic, drop pen, but drop.
It's free. It's free. The app free. the post free, the share free, the damn reaction is free. How much more free shit could you get? Like it don't get no better than that. Like it's free promotion for your people. And like I understand, you know what I'm saying, about the algorithm and all that. But at the end of the day, especially, if your friends is like your family, you need to, put a little effort in. Go out your way a little bit. Such and such working on his music career. Shout out my cousin Tonio, by the way. Okay, Tonio the Great. He out
Tonyo the
there.
Great. There it is. Shout out.
Hey, you feel me? But yeah, like anytime that man posts something, I'm sharing it. My best friend, he a rapper too. I'm sharing it. I don't care. Somebody paint a picture. I'm sharing it. I don't give a damn. Like it's free. And I'm sitting there looking at the shit anyway. All you had to do was press a button. So yeah, I'm judging like hell. Like, okay, it's you know what I'm saying? I done made a little mental note. You done made it on the sticky notes. Cause what the hell? But yeah, to each their own. Do what you're gonna do. I keep doing good shit because I feel like karma is real and it's
Mm-hmm.
a bitch. And when you know about karma and you know better, you know what I'm saying, that shit come back swifter. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it might not even hit their ass for real, because they some people just ignorant as hell. They just don't know, you know. But like, you being a person who knows better, sometimes that shit is swift. At least for me, that's how I know. Like, so I don't go out my way. Them folks, you be surprised. I be doing my little TikTok videos and stuff like that. Like, people are watching. That's why I'm glad they got the views. They show the views, and then they show like the reactions and shit. And like, how are 2,000 people watching this video and only 2 people liked it? You know, shit like that. Like, it
At
could all come
halftime, it
up
be
a
them
little
two
more.
people that you know.
Right, right. The people who support me the
I
most,
mean, the
people I
two
ain't
people
seen
that you
in
don't
years.
know. Mm-hmm.
I ain't seen in
Mm-hmm.
years. Or people who don't even know me like that for real. They, whatever the case is. And it's it just make you want to shake your head.
Mm-hmm.
There's a family you chose, and it's a family you're born into, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I say, it's like I said, that's just once again, I think one of the kind of topics where it could just go in so many different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, like you said, a lot of it goes back to slavery. A lot
Yep.
of it goes back to, even in families, the haves and the have-nots. It's like, if you sitting over here and you part of the have, yeah, that's the side over there that, like you said, the sky's the limit. They can go out here and
Mm-hmm.
do whatever, fuck up a whole, a bank account, and it's okay because mom and dad like, well, at least you tried. And then
Right.
over here on the other, like, oh wait a minute, hold on, I gave you $5 and you went and did what? You lost it. Oh, I got to lose my you because I ain't got no $5 to give, or whatever the case may be. And
Mm-hmm.
so now it's like I see stuff, and not to say, necessarily, going like that in my family. I'm just saying just in families in general, just being, just to see the division that goes on there. So it's like a lot of times I understand sometimes why people go to someplace else, because it's like, and I've done that. It's like it's easier sometimes to go talk to somebody that don't know you, that don't know your background, and don't care who
Right.
your dad was, or who your mama was, or your mama is, or your daddy is, or your big brother, big sister, whoever. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
because then you got that stigma on you, like, oh, that's such and such daughter, or that's such and such, mama, or that's such and such this or that, and it's like, dang, all I want to do is just come here and get some support, get some love, and all y'all want to do is, tear me down and, talk shit, whatever. But like I said, go across town, go somewhere else, and you go tell somebody your hopes and your dreams before you know it, they got the whole laid out there waiting on you. All you got to do is just say, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to do, go ahead and get it to me. I'm here. But you go home and try that, you be like, Lord have mercy. I guess I better go on out here and get back on the chain gang. That's what you want me to do. Go on out here, with my mug. Nobody knows the
Right.
trouble I see. That mug out the bars in the cell. That's what you want me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Go out here and get up on the plantation with you. But okay, all
Yeah.
right, whatever.
Now, what's this down here? How do you deal with family that don't support? Do you cut them off personally for not supporting your business? How you handle that, Michelle?
Well, now I ain't gonna cut them off. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I ain't gonna cut you off, but I am gonna remember. And once
Mm-hmm.
again, I am that kind that, like, okay, we family, because I can't get rid of you. If you blood family, no matter what, I can't get rid of you. Okay.
Right.
But no need of me trying to get rid of you. I can't have a Medea moment and, what's the, remember that show with little Jeannie, she did like that and she would just
Mm-hmm.
poof, be gone. I can't poof, be gone yet. So therefore, I'm not gonna, cut you off, but I'm gonna remember. And once again, I am that kind of person. Like I said, I am what? Petty LaBelle. Okay. I am an introverted. We ain't got nothing but time and opportunity. Okay. So we
Okay.
think a whole lot. Like Eric B. and Rakim, I'm old school. I'm 46. I'm thinking of a master plan. I live and die by that creed. Ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand. So I dig into my pocket on my
Thanks.
pen. I get dig deeper, but I keep coming up with lint. Okay, let me go ahead and get back to
You
it.
bet.
I love,
Boy, you gonna make me turn up in this car, Miss Shannon?
because I love me some Eric B. and Rakim. I'm old school. But anywho, I'm gonna think of a master plan on them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come along and now you got something going on and you need some support, and you come to me telling me, hey, yo, Shan, look, I got XYZ, I got this, and this. I'm like, hey, yo, B, but do you remember back when I had something going on and I reached out to you and I could hear a rat piss on cotton? Whenever, I tried to wait on the response for you, it was always what had happened was, well, I was going to come or I was going to do this, but what had happened was, now I got to go ahead and do it back to you. So you come to me telling me about something, I'm just going to sit there and just be like, oh, quiet.
Yeah.
Let you hear a rat piss on cotton. And then, I'm going to be like, yeah, you got something going on when? Where? What did I tell you I was going to do before? Okay. And sit right back. Get my remote.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because I ain't coming. Because, see, I match energy. I'm that kind. If you go low, I ain't going, high. I don't know how to do that. You go low, I'm going to hell. And I do
Going straight to hell.
Yeah, going to hell. So that's why I said, don't cut them off. Don't cut them off. That's just me. Don't cut them off. But just remember, keep it in the back of your head. Remember the ones who was rocking with you when you first got started. You remember the ones that was rocking with you when you wanted to give up. You remember the ones that was rocking with you when you was, laying in your bed at night, your ears full of tears because you ain't got no money. You don't know where the next, paycheck gonna come from. You don't know what's going on. You feel like you'd have made the worst decision. You remember the ones that came along and said, nah, you got this. Come on, let's go. You remember the ones that say, you know what, I'll help you find somebody. That becomes your real family. My whole thing is that, family, a lot of times, it could be the ones that you're born into, and it's also the ones that you meet along the way. I always say this, relatives are the ones that are blood. Can't help that. Yeah. Family is who you make it and what you make it at times. That's how I get down. And I'm going to drop the mic on that. You go ahead. You tell your part. That part. Drop my highlighter. That's what I'm going to drop.
Okay.
There it is.
Keeping it a buck. Miss Shannon keeping it a buck.
That part. So you can go on here because, like I said, we both can't be over here telling these people to fuck family and go to hell and everything. Somebody got to counter at me because I'm crazy. Somebody got to come back and say, "No, what you do?" I'm like, "Are you right? I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna be like this. You right?
No.
You right."
I mean, I'd attack it the same way. I mean, I see you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna react to it. Some folks will get online and make them post and family do you any kind of way and stuff like that. Like, hey, that shit don't make a difference. If people ain't gonna support you, they ain't gonna damn support you. They don't care if you write 10 sub statuses, So shit. It just make it all the more sweeter when I reach where I'm going, Miss Shannon. For real.
You better say that.
Okay. Cause what's that little Psalms 23? Okay, what is it? He preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You feel me? So I'm gonna eat. And you're gonna watch me. You're gonna watch me eat up on all this success and do all these things because I kept it a buck. You feel me? I did what I was supposed to do. I shared, I done all the things. And when my time comes, it's up. It's up. I'm a wave at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a good person. So if I see you too down, I might put a little something on your back, a shirt or something. But all the extra shit out the window. But the people who fuck with me, oh yeah, I'm there. Whatever you need, whatever you gave me, you about to get it back 300 times. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, because like it's so rare to find anybody to look out for you for real. So yeah, I try to focus on them, focus on the people who fuck with me, and the people who don't. I see you enough to keep you out of my inner circle so that I don't gotta really whoop your ass, because that's when you're gonna get your ass whooped for real, machine. Because I don't play that shit. I don't play my business being out in the street, and I don't play nobody running around here telling my business. I'm gonna handle you.
I can't fight worth damn, but I'm gonna bring the windmill. Y'all go to like here come the windmill factory. I'm like, I may not swat at nothing, but you gonna know that I was there. They're like, what in the hell is she over there doing? I can't fight worth damn. I'm probably get my ass whooped. You know what I mean? But you gonna know I was there. Let me get a scratch. Let me grab.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna take an eyeball out. I'm gonna do something. Somebody gonna take one of these fingernails and carve my name in your forehead. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do something. I bust a Corona ball on the side of the curb. I'm gonna do something. Probably like I said, in the midst of me getting my ass whooped. But you're gonna still know that I was there.
Yeah, but it take a lot. That take true vulnerability to like let somebody into your life, you know, and like open up to them with your problems and things you got going on in your life, and you know, for them to use it against you or whatever the case that is, that's the type of shit set me off, Miss Shannon. Okay, you ain't got to share a post, and you ain't got to damn, you ain't got to comment, none of that. But if I catch you out here talking crazy about me, you had the opportunity to talk good about me for free, ass whooping free, and I ain't caught you out in these streets talking about me, it's up. I don't care where we at, Miss Shannon. It's up in the Walmart. It's up at the Rite Aid. They still got Rite Aids. It's up in there. I don't give a damn. For real.
Well, see, I guess I'm that kind of person. It's like I tell people around these parts, like I already know a lot of people don't like me, and I don't care. People don't like me because of the fact that, you know, I'm gonna say whatever I want to say. Like I ain't no, I mean, I'm gonna be real. Ain't nothing scary about me. I don't start none, won't be none. When I go out here in these streets, I'm normally by myself, you know, or if I am with somebody, maybe like one or two people or whatever. I stay to myself. I stay away. I stay out the way, or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, but if I know you talking about me, because this is how I tell people all the time, I don't care if you're talking about me. I really don't. I can't stop you. How you feel about me that's your business. You know, you got a right to feel however you want to feel. I can't stop you from doing that. But I just know this much right here. The more you talk about me, the more you do that, the more that you are allowing me to be able to head fuck you like that. You know, then at that point, guess what? That I'm the winner of that, because I ain't going to bed at night thinking about you. I ain't going to bed worrying about you. I go to bed and I sleep good every night. You know, and that's why when I die, I tell my husband, I said, turn me over so my big red ass can be out. So everybody can come out like me, can kiss my big red ass. And they can go out kiss. They can go down to the fellowship hall and eat some Little Caesars pizza or whatever you got.
Okay.
Feed these motherfuckers. Just give them some Little Caesars pizza, slices each, and a little jungle juice, and tell them to be
and a napkin
on their way.
But make sure you kiss this ass before you go to the.
That's it right there. I'm like, you know, hey, I'm going out in style. That's it. You know, ass
I
on.
know that.
That's it. So let's see here. What's this one? Do you all support your family members with their businesses? Why or why not? Well, for me, I'm gonna be real. You know, like I do have a few family members that have their own business, and I do. You know, I try to support them. And the main reason is it's not a tit for tat for me, like you supported me and now I got to support you and you didn't support me, so I'm not going to support you. You know, I once again learned, just like going back to the original, you know, when I was originally talking, there's some that they just didn't want me in their business. And I get that, you know. So depending upon how close I am with them, depending upon, you know, how I feel about them, how they feel about me, yeah, I'll support their business. And I'll do whatever I can to, you know, try to promote it or whatever. But them janky motherfuckers, no, you know, you come over here telling me you got something going on. I'm just, and maybe that's why people don't like me as well, because I'm not going to hold back. So if you come to me and be like, hey, yo, Shan, I got this going on, I'm like, hey, I don't care, fuck you. Because remember, whenever I was doing this, like that pettiness, fuck you. Remember when I was doing such and such, you going to come over here? I'm like, or you know, or you gonna come up here and have the audacity to try to tell me about what you got going on? And then Lord knows sometimes, and I don't believe in competition. I do not. I love to see others that look like me, you know, out here doing what I do. I love it. I love it because there needs to be more of us out here. I'm putting that disclaimer out there. I love to see Black female insurance agents. I love to see Black female financial advisors. I love to see Black female credit repair specialists. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. However, if you know this is what I was doing, and that means that you got to come over here with me. But it's like when you come to me acting like you didn't know that's what I was doing, and it's like, oh yeah, Shannon, I want to sit down with you. I'm like, bitch, we ain't talking, I don't know how long. And you come over here now talk about, you know, I want to sit down with you and, you know, just go over your, you know, your income and your assets. I'm like, bitch, we do the same thing. Yeah. And they were like, oh, I forgot. No, you didn't. See, that's when it's like, no, I ain't get ready to support your ass because you knew. And I'm not here. That doesn't mean that I'm not about competition at all. It's a lot of times about collaboration, connection. But you like that, I'm like, bitch, you knew what I was doing. And you want to come over here and you want to think and sit up here and think I'm going to support your business when you ain't never, ever said, hey, cat, dog, no, nothing to me. And now you want to come over here because you think I'm gonna give you some in my book of business, or that I'm gonna give you, let you write a policy on me or whatever the fuck is. Fuck you. Mother made you, mother had you, mother fuck you. And that's what I got. So you just use your own discretion when it come down to your family members with their business. You just remember how they treated you, how they was down you. If you got a business and they rock with you, of course you rock with them. Maybe they didn't know that much about your business. Maybe they, weren't aware of how, far in you were going with it or whatever. Use your own discretion. Use your own discernment. And as long as you got peace about it, if you say, fuck you, I ain't going to support you, and you got peace about it, you walk in that.
That's
Speak
what it
your
come down to.
truth. That's why I always tell people, speak your truth, stand in your truth, walk in your truth. But if you're going to support them, hey, go ahead and support them. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Again, it don't cost no damn money. That's what kid me. It don't cost no money. It's free.
That part. And it looks
free
like,
to laugh.
Let me see here. I think we got, let's see, somebody else is trying to come on up here. Is this Miss Shemaine that's trying, Mr. Shemaine? Excuse me, Mr. Shemaine. I am so sorry. So sorry. Don't hold that.
Come on, Shemaine.
That's it right there. Charge it to my head, not my heart. Sorry.
That's right. My mama calls me Lamont sometimes.
All right. Okay, then. Okay. Well, like I said, come on this panel. We just up here talking a little bit of shit. That's all.
Okay.
We were just answering that question that the just came up on the screen. I don't know if you can still see it, or if you can see it, and if you can, you want to chime in as far as what you think and how you would respond.
Do I support my family? Yes, I actually do. Almost everything that they do, I try to support them as I wish they would support me as well. However, the return is not always the same. And it is what it is. I speak from examples, but I've got a sister that she has a niece that entered college, and my niece wanted a MacBook Pro. And everyone that knows me knows that my business. My niece decided that she wanted that MacBook Pro, and my from Best Buy. I had the same machine sitting here waiting for her. But once again, everybody uses that same ethic when it comes down to working with their family members.
I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. Oh, is it just me, or did his screen? Is his screen? Because like I said, it's storming over here, so I don't know. It might be my stuff going out.
He done froze up on us a little bit.
Okay,
I see you.
Okay, you're breaking up real bad. I don't know what you just said, but you might have to say it again.
I said, I see you well.
Okay, I can say it doesn't look like you froze up now. So I if you're gonna say something, I guess I can hear you because you're unfrozen. Okay. I said so, but yeah, but so like I said though, well, I guess he did.
Okay, this little disappearing act.
I know, right? I said, well, sound like he was getting into it too. I was listening. I was like, okay, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, because I'm like, oh Lord, I'm like, here I go. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to wait to see if he's gonna try to come back. There he is. There you go.
I'm here.
All
I
right.
have no idea what happened, but I'm here.
Okay, well, if you want to repeat what you just said, because we ain't hear none of that. I'm pretty sure it was good too. That's why I was like, where he go? Like when you left, I was like,
well, I was speaking on the fact that yes, I do support my family and friends in almost everything that they do, especially when it comes to business. And I said, but the return is not always the same. It's not reciprocal. So I've learned that over the years, and it is what it is. But I was given an example. I speak off of experiences a lot of times. And my niece went to college that particular year, and everyone knows that I sell computers. And my sister decided to go to Best Buy and pick up a brand new MacBook Pro, which she spent $1,400 for it. And I had that same machine sitting here for $800.
Wow.
Wow.
Again, my sister felt like she wanted to buy the brand new in the box. And so she lost money. And the machine ended up still coming back to me regardless. So it is what it is.
But hey, it be like that sometime though. It be like
I think you tapped on something else too, right there, where folks will go out of their way to buy from strangers.
Yes, they will.
But won't pick up from people they know.
Yeah.
Like they'll stop $1 from getting to your pocket. I don't know. I'm not saying anything about your family or nothing, but just in general, like they'll stop $1 from your pocket and give it to somebody else for the same, quality or less quality,
and still want a discount.
Right.
You see,
on top of
that,
truth speak. That's it right there. But that's why, like I said, I just think it's just one of those things I think, once again, this could be a topic that we could just, stay on probably all night long. And I know we all can't do that, but it's just, I think it's a deep topic. It's a wide topic, but, just overall, I just think sometimes it seems like just within our community, our people or whatever, it's like sometimes a stranger will show more love to you and support you and bring people your way sometime and what you think your family would do or whatever. And I think sometimes it's a rude awakening. It's but at the same time, I always try to break generational curses and and be able to not pass that on to my child or to my other family members or anything like that. Like especially with my son. Like my son is 19, he's in college, and I'm always gonna be that mama that's like, oh, you want to be an underwater basket weaver, baby? Let's go.
Yeah.
We go. Okay. What water we gonna get in? What kind of what's that stuff they how they what's that suit?
The scuba suit.
Yeah,
get one on Amazon.
You got it. What size you need for that? You got your flippers. The big old feet that they put on or whatever. Your goggles. I'm like, what you got going on? What you gonna do? Because you ain't never gonna have to go out here and feel like a stranger is gonna show you more love than your mom.
That's right.
And whoever you marry, you need to make sure that whoever you marrying, now don't go out here doing dumb nigga shit. But if you go out here and you really about your business, you really got dreams and you got hopes and things like that. Be with somebody that's gonna complement that, not complicate it. So it's like I tell him that all the time. Like anything he's ever wanted to do, ever since he's been a little boy, you ain't got to go out. You would never have to go out here and feel like you got to go to the streets or go to a stranger and go tell them something because your mama put you down or your mama was like, why you want to do that? Or why you need to do that? Or why this and that? No, you ain't never got to worry about that over here. Now, yeah, I still say like, well, have you really thought about that or whatever? That's something you really truly want to do. But it's like, but if I see he done thought about it, made up his mind, let's do it. Let's go.
Right.
It's the limit over here. And that's another thing. I think sometimes it's when your struggle, we don't know how to stop that. Struggle and survive and just keeps coming down. And it's like, and then before we know it, we're projecting that on to our family members. Sometimes we project that even onto our families. I mean, to our friends.
Right.
And that's why I think a lot of times it's like, and I think, we had said it earlier in, on the call, Jericho, we was like, sometimes when your family don't know any different, all you know to do is just to, react in that manner. Like, why you doing that? Or why you want to do this or do that? But that's, we sometimes so far behind the 8 ball because, we got so much more than we could do and so much more that we can contribute to certain things or to our business or whatever, but we don't because we feel like no support.
Right. You touched on a very interesting point, and it's funny how the signal comes through clearer when you're talking about subjects that everyone can relate to. And it's just so funny that you said that. I actually posted a meme today that touches on that same premise. And I try not to get on a sexist tip or a male versus female tip or whatever way you want to look at it. But this particular meme spoke of that exact thing. And it basically showed a mother and a son. And growing up, that little boy was always yelled at saying, a man don't cry. A man sucks it up and does this or does that. So as an adult, and this may be a topic down the road that we piggyback off of also, as an adult, this man has a wife that does the same thing. And you could see the projection of that generational, not necessarily curse, but that generational transition of that young lady's mom teaching her to be that way. So she projected that in her current status. And that was really interesting that you said that, because I had just posted that like probably 3 hours ago. But we have to support our kids. We have to support our family. I think it's very important. I know I started when I was 18 years old being an entrepreneur pretty much. I didn't have the support of a family. So I made my family. My family was my customers. So I treated my customers like family. And that's the business model that I kept to this day. Everyone that comes in knows that, hey, this is like home. It's a very personal feel. And by doing that, that breaks the ice of business. And I'm just telling you from my perspective of how I became such of a, it don't matter. I've got an Indian man on his way now. I've got Asian customers, white customers, black customers, old customers. The oldest customer I had was 97 years old, coming to a home. I work from home. So you can imagine someone coming by, but that's that same energy that I give them that they give me back because of that trust. So, yeah.
Well, that's why I say, once again, I think it's just all about, breaking that generational curse. And like I said, I know once again, this is one of them topics that we can stay on forever. But I think that a lot of it is if we started breaking those generational curses and we started to know how to edify each other and how to support each other. Because beforehand, it was just all about just surviving. Like, what was like Good Times? Like, I never really paid attention to that song till I got older. And I was like, Lord have mercy. Just listening to the words and the lyrics of you, like, Lord, if that wasn't a whole bunch of us, back then, the beginning of it, come on, you just wanted to scream the good times, not really listening to what they were saying. All that was the truth. But, but like I said, though, it's just about, being able to say, how do we make this better? How do we get to a point to where we can, we don't have to feel like we got to go to a stranger or sometimes go over to a whole nother race just to be able to say that, we're getting support, we're getting love. But I feel like, the change has to start within a person. I said, I'm going to be the change I want to see. So that's why I come to my son. When it come down to anybody, if you come over here to me, I don't care what you say you want to do. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you just said, but what you need, what you want, or whatever, what can I do to help or whatever. And I think if we came from more so of that, like, what can I do to help serve? What can I do to help? Or whatever, then guess what? We as a people, we could be so far ahead because we all could be millionaires. You hear me? Like we all should be millionaires as hard as we grind, as hard as we can go. And ain't nothing worse than when you go hard and you come home and you ain't got no support, you ain't got no sales, you ain't got no prospects, you ain't got nothing because you're trying to, get your family to help. You're trying to do this and do that. But but like I said, when you go across town, like you glad that you got it. You're glad that somebody else helping you, but like, but what about our own people? What where are we to help each other?
That's a word right there, topic.
So, but that's just my 2 cents, y'all. But look, I said, I know we, everybody on here got something today. We got to do and everything else, and so I just anybody want to say any closing remarks before we, get on up out of here?
I would like to say something, but I'll let her go first.
No, go ahead. You probably
I just want to apologize for being tardy.
Good.
My mama gave me 10 million things to do today, and I tried so hard.
I got a mama like that too. I do.
I like this. Good Lord. I mean, I'm part of my mom. So I moved my mom up here from another city so I could help. Oh, good gracious. I mean, every day. I need to go to Walmart. I need to go to Walgreens tomorrow. I need to go here tomorrow. Lord, help me. So I do apologize. I'm gonna work on my time management pretty soon here. But I appreciate let me be a part of this. I look forward to getting to know each and every one that's gonna be a part of this. and we can all work together and find resolutions and be awesome together.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Likewise, my good sir.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to say, stretch, drink water, mind your business, and support your people. That's it, and you'll live longer. And it's free. It don't cost no money. Let me reiterate, it don't cost no money to share, to clap, to send an encouraging word. None of that.
We don't want to.
But
I see. I can dig it. So that's why I say, y'all. So morally speaking, tonight, morally speaking, we have learned, we have, discussed, why sometimes strangers, can show more love to you. They can be more supportive to you than family. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that all has to be the right way. And I'll be the first that we may not all have the right answers. We may not all be able to, say what's what. Like I said, this is a gray area. But I say it's just, if you know for a fact that you want some support, go out there and be support. Or sometimes you got to be the change that that you want to see. Because
absolutely.
like I said, we're brilliant. It's no reason why any of us can't come out here and say that we need to be millionaires. But if we can change the mindset of our family, if we can change the mindset of, say, some of our friends or whatever, then and they can turn their thinking around. Just imagine how much further all of us could be. Every last one of us, me included. I got to look at myself. I can't go throw a stone till I throw that stone and hit my own self upside the head.
That's right.
Michelle, you hilarious, girl.
Well, I just try to keep it 100. What I try to do. I just try to keep it 100. So, well, all right, y'all. I said, well, I just want to say thank y'all so much for coming on tonight. For all of you that was out here, watching that, gave your comments or asked your questions. Thank y'all so much. We sure do appreciate it. And I just want everybody on here just to have a good evening, have a good rest of the evening, try to stay cool. I guess it finished storming around these parts or whatever, because it was crazy for a minute there. I thought I was going to have to be like, my grandma go somewhere and sit down, let the Lord do his work. But you know what? I made it through. All
Turn
right.
them lights off.
That part, go lay down somewhere, sit down, like she would say. But y'all go ahead and have y'all a good evening. And I guess we will see everybody next week.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Same to you.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
All right.